Good morning, everybody. Hey, we back with U.S. versus Sean Combs, and this is gonna be today where the judge issue the jury instructions, and then after that point, we'll be on verdict watch. Now, how is it gonna go? We don't know. But first, I'm gonna say I hope everybody had a great weekend. We starting the week off with this, and will he be home for the fourth, or will he be incarcerated? People, I guess that's the question, and we won't get the answer until they drop the verdict. But anyway, we're here for it to find out. I think up for the last 6 weeks, we all gave our opinions on how we felt. Either he should be locked up, these the proper charges. Then you had the other people saying these aren't the proper charges. A lot of people feel like, hey, they don't have a dog in the fight, but at the same time, most people are definitely speaking about the justice system itself and don't want people to be able to come in and manipulate these RICOs and things like that just to serve a purpose that they want to attain, right? So somebody said he won't be home. Yeah, no, I mean, I have no idea because at this point, it's not up to us in the chat. It's pretty much up to the jury. But what I see so far, in my opinion, is that a lot of this stuff, I think a lot of people may feel like I feel. I feel like, hey, yeah, the guy done a lot of wrong in his life, this and that. But however, was it a criminal enterprise, as they say? And if it was a criminal enterprise, I don't feel they proved that. I just don't believe it. Now, with the Mann Act and how they got those rules and some of the things he did, maybe on that outside of the RICO. So he may be charged with that. We don't know. But at the end of the day, I just feel like everybody got their opinions on why they want certain things. Yeah, I mean, we'll go back and forth. Nisi, I see you in there. You saying that they did prove it. To me, I'm just saying for me, they didn't. Um, I'm not an attorney though, but the jurors aren't attorneys either. So I guess it's how somebody perceives something. You know what I'm saying? I just didn't see it that way. What we got? I've heard two different attorneys' point of view. One feel like the prosecutors didn't make a good case. Other feel the prosecutors did an excellent job. So there's that. Yeah, the whole thing is this. Too. A lot of people do feel like, oh, Rico was proven within the first 3 weeks. Some people feel like myself, I just feel like, oh, that's BS, right? And so it all come down to the jurors, and I guess maybe this week we might find out. Deliberations can go a week, 2 weeks, but in this case, I doubt it. I doubt it. I doubt if it go that way. Let me try to see if we get any updates from the courts yet, because they should be about ready to walk in, and I'm sure they're gonna start late like they always do. But anyway, I really enjoy. What's up, Beatrice? I really enjoyed. Like it's been taxing trying to cover this because it's so early in the morning and going through that, and it takes us away from my other programming things. But I enjoyed it though. It was something taxing, but I enjoyed it. The going back and forth, because at the end of the day, I do respect other people's opinions. I just might not agree. Let me see. Yeah, Beach Sharrell is coming. Yeah, we had a busy weekend. She's still under the weather. I think mine come and go, but yeah, she should be here. Let me see. Lorraine says the jury are not lawyers, but they are in the courtroom surrounded by the law books and teachers, and they are being educated about the law and will persuade to stick to abiding by the law. Yeah, I mean, what we could say that they're being taught there's law books in there, but it simply come down to somebody's opinion. If you feel like your opinion is strong enough and you feel like you're right in your opinion, do you go and just break out a law book to question yourself? I'm just wondering if that's what you do. I don't, you know, I don't see that being the case. Just don't. But like I said, look, things is crazy. Perry, if criminal enterprise can be a mafia organization or can be a small group of your friends doing stuff, that's criminal. That's how the law considers it. That's why they are being charged. Okay. Yeah, no, I mean, I'm not doubting that, right? My only thing is certain charges come with different penalties too. And if you had a small group of people doing something, they might be charged totally different. They could be charged with lesser, lesser crimes, but not the ones that face life imprisonment and all these things. So I'm not doubting what you guys are saying, but I would tell y'all this. I feel like he's not going to be found guilty. That's just my opinion. June 30th, 2025. That's what I'm saying. Not saying it can't happen. I just don't feel that's going to happen. And we can say a lot of things, just like really, if you go back and think about it, if you really want to be technical and go by the law, they say when you take anything like any kind of pharmaceuticals out of their original container and transfer them somewhere else, that's against the law. Do you think they arresting old people for putting their little pills in that Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday packet? So I'm saying technically, a lot of stuff, yes, it's a crime, but they just grasping for air, right? They just trying to build anything they can. That's all I'm saying. So we can say, yes, the law. Yeah. Jaywalking is a crime too, isn't it? Is illegal to jaywalk, isn't it? So I'm just saying, technically, we can go down a list with a lot of stuff. Just saying. Coffee, anyone? I'm with you, Perry and Sharrell. Yeah, I mean, I'm just simply saying. Now, everybody got the right to feel how they want to feel. I'm just telling you my feeling. And then I think most of the part, we told you why we feel the way we feel. Because if they set the precedence of doing this, it's not only going to be the black rappers today, it's one day going to be on us and your community. Then I think people will see it differently. Oh, that's an overreach when it comes to yourself. And nobody still can really ever answer besides making excuses. Diddy need to hold himself accountable for where he's at and where he's sitting at. That's on him to do. But these victims, as they say they are, should have took accountability too. Like I said, I feel like it was a toxic relationship environment with a whole bunch of addicts. You make a lot of excuses. A lot of people make a lot of excuses. Stockholm syndrome. She was fearful. Now, in the regular world, you wouldn't buy that unless you had your own agenda to use it to say, "Hey, we're gonna ship this man down the road." When your spouse do something, won't you make that same excuse for them? Why didn't you take the trash out? He was fearful of his life. Come on, people, stop it. This is ridiculous to me. Now, technically, by the book, you can, the definition, you can look it up and it might make sense to you. But then the problem we were saying is that if this is going to be the law, is it going to be applied across the board? Maybe that's a good question. For the people who think it's a RICO, do you think they're going to apply it fairly across the board? Because at the end of the day, that's all we saying. If you're gonna create something, apply it fairly. Is other entertainers, celebrities that go out and got an assistance and have them go and pick up their package, you know, change their sheets after they got busy, bring them breakfast in bed while they still doing it or whatever, right? Are they gonna get the RICO? Hold on, somebody just said something to me. They says, but you're making excuses for Diddy. No, no, I'm not making excuses for him. I'm saying that he didn't get in this whole situation by himself. I think he was a willing participant. I think these females that saying they're victims was a willing participant. I'm not making an excuse for him. If I wanted to make an excuse for him, I'd say, hey, well, if he was a victim growing up, if you know what I mean, maybe he had Stockholm. That'd be making an excuse for him. Maybe they used him so bad he was in fear of his own life. Come on now. Now, how ridiculous do that sound? I'm not making no excuses. I feel comfortable where I'm at. I'm just saying I think the man gonna be found not guilty when the verdict come in. That's how I feel. Now I think people saying I'm making excuses. Well, switch. I'm gonna say this, and please give me an answer. Uh, are you making excuses for these victims? Yes or no? Lorraine, yes, you are, Perry. You have to help him. You can't excuse bad behavior. No, I'm not excusing it. DV is not cool. He should have paid probably, I mean, I feel a lot of victims get beat like that with no payoff. It don't make it right even if you got paid, but I feel like $20 million, at least she got something back where most people don't. Do I feel like he should be getting this RICO based off this DV thing alone? That's something that they had settled? No, and I don't really trust the other witnesses that was on the stand, and I don't think they was being 100% honest. And they had immunity, so that they could have just told the truth. But I think it was a money grab. Just my opinion. I don't got no facts. Just I feel like it's a money grab that they setting up to sue.
Some
They
people
see
also
Kathy
have to be
3 million.
said. Not
Huh?
every tear means someone's a victim. And
Sharrell, what's that noise?
Oh, that was me. I'm sorry.
Oh,
Forgot to go on mute.
I was like, what is that?
How's everybody today? Oh my God, Perry, I could hardly talk.
I know.
This case has so many different angles and many different ways that you can look at it. Because I was listening to this psychiatrist this weekend, and she was talking about things from Cassie's point of view or everybody's point of view. She says in life, everybody goes through something. Everybody goes through shit, right? Your shit might not be as bad as my shit, but we all grow through stuff. That's life, right? Nobody's life is perfect. But you really have to watch out. And I'm going to let her play it for you for certain kind of people. Some kind of people take being the victim. Like, let's say something bad happened to you. Let's say I'm Cassie and Diddy R'd me, right? And sometimes they could take those emotions, especially when you're not accountable. You were with him for 11 years. You have to claim your part that you did, right? But you don't. She pretends like she's a victim and she uses that as her weapon against other people to not be not be accountable for her part. Diddy needs to be accountable for his part, and she needs to be accountable for her part. You stayed with this man 11 years. You took the money. I want you guys to hear this, because what happens is sometimes these women form a group, right? Let's say we all been R'd, right? We all been R'd and only we understand each other's pain, right? You could take that both ways. You could say, What do I need to do in my life to improve? How do I get better? Because we all know that if you were hard as at one time in your life, it's not cool to go and do other people just because that happened to you, right? So you still have to be accountable. Like the minute you start doing other people, I don't care how bad your childhood was, you're dead ass wrong. And you got to heal yourself, right? You got to heal yourself. But sometimes these women get in these cliques, right? And they say, we're victims. We want justice for all victims. That's dangerous because number one, everybody's case is individual. Some people, you know, everything's different. And in this case, all the women that ever been a victim look at Diddy as their accuser because it's hard to face it on your own and heal yourself and try to be a better person after what happened to you, right? But that doesn't mean you have to contribute to the bad part of society. You still are responsible for your part, learning the things that you need to learn. So I'm really cautious when I see the victim mentality. You got all these women ganging up on Diddy because he stands for all men. No, he doesn't. He stands for himself. And I think it's kind of unhealthy to develop that kind of mentality where you start hating all men. All men do this, all men do that. No, you're creating a very unhealthy environment when women band together and hate men together, no matter what, because they see their victim. Unfortunately, I wasn't born into this life with Perry. Unfortunately, everybody has their own life to live. You got to face your own problems yourself. It's not a group problem. It's not a group problem. And people are scared to say that. So I was listening to this YouTube channel this weekend about women that are scared to speak up and tell these groups, these ones that develop these mentality. We hate men. Let's uh, make them all pay. That's what the closing defense the prosecution said, and she found her power. Listen, a group of people cannot help you find your power. You have to find your power, and there's nothing wrong with being in that situation and saying no. You could say no, but instead it's easier to say, I couldn't do anything about it and I'm the victim. Then you get with these other ladies, and now let's get all men. You got some serious healing to do. It's Cassie's not innocent. If you say that, people lose their mind. She's not innocent. You don't hang around anybody like that for 11 damn years and have a squeaky clean record. She just doesn't want to take responsibility. These other women, they want to fix what happened to them in a group and label all men. It's a very weird thing, but this psychiatrist I'm about to play for you guys was saying some people take that, what happened to them, and they realize they get sympathy from it, and then they play it to their advantage. It's not easy to talk about, but it's true. Some women take being a victim and play it to their advantage. Cassie's doing that. She knows she's the victim. All these women are like, stand up for us, stand up to the man. No, she's not innocent. Take a listen to this. What did I just do with that? And it's not easy. They were talking this weekend. If you speak about being accountable for yourself, you got to talk about what Diddy's dirt. You got to talk about Cassie's dirt. They don't want to do that. If you say, well, Diddy might not be guilty. She's the victim. She's the victim. They can't deal with reality. It's insane. It was so much going on in that case that everybody's to blame. Everybody. And that's just on the physical way they were living their life, right? That doesn't even talk about the political side of it. There's the political games being played here also. So take a listen to this. Let's see if I can find it. Because it's so much going on. And it's so hard to talk to women that claim themselves as being the victim. They don't listen. They tune you out. If you're not saying, oh, we understand, then they don't want to hear it. There's so much to gain out of being the victim. And that's what Cassie's playing, that victim card. She's going to pay for it too. She's going to pay for it because she knows exactly what she's doing. Cassie's not the girl y'all think she is. So cut it out. She was a co-conspirator. And can't nobody tell me different. I mean, I don't understand. Y'all want Diddy to be accountable. Let the bastard be accountable for what he did. Well, what about the bastard that played y'all? Cassie. And it's really hard to talk about. And it's so easy to be on the popular side and just roll with these people. When you see that somebody's weak emotionally, a lot of people use that to their advantage. I want you guys to hear this and just tell me, do you understand what this person is talking about? Because the shit gets deep. And it's real. And, and you can't talk to people that are victims. They don't listen because they feel they're not strong enough to stand up and they need a group. They need a group to do it. No, you need a healing. You got to start with yourself.
I'm going to grab some more coffee. Be back.
Okay. Let me try it one more time. I mean, I'm going to raise my daughter like that. If you want to do better, it starts with the man in the mirror. Why isn't this working? It's having trouble sharing your video. What? Let me try it again. You have to be accountable in your life for your own actions. You've got to be accountable for your own actions. Cassie had a lot to do with what happened to her. People don't want to hear that. No, it's Diddy's fault and Diddy only. Girl, she was living like the lifestyle that they keep talking about. She was living it. How do you overlook that? Because it's more convenient just to blame Diddy than to look in the mirror and say, wait a minute, all these people are effed up. Nobody should be claiming victim because they played each other. Let me see if I can. Try this. Hold on. Because it really opened my eyes this weekend. If you want to survive anything in
piss some people off, but
what is that?
To be said. Not every tear means someone's a victim, and not every man is automatically the victim.
Hold on. I don't know. It's not working. None of these women ain't innocent. None of them, including Cassie. But you can't talk to, because you can't say that to a fragile mind, a person that really thinks they're a victim and it just happened to him and to them and they don't understand why. And why is life so bad to me and everybody else gets treated better? You can't get through life like that. Diddy's not a victim and neither is Cassie. None of those women are victims. And then, but they get so, they feel so powerful in a group that if you say it, okay, that didn't work either. If you say it, they want to band together, kill all men. You don't love women. You did. And they just want to stay in that drama. They want to stay in it because it's too hard to work through it and heal yourself. It's too hard. So let me just keep playing my victim role here instead of changing my life for the better. I don't care what you say or what you do. When you tell a man it was okay to argue, you're full of shit. You're not a victim. You are not a victim. She told him, yeah, one last time. Let's do a freak off one last time. Woo-wee. Like, girl, stop. And some women lie about these things. People use it as power. She's seriously sitting up there letting y'all fight over each other while she laughs all the way to the bank. She laughs all the way to the bank and y'all don't see it. And it's just easier. Let's just hate Diddy. Let's hate Diddy. He's a bastard. He did this and this wrong. His and this wrong. Well, hey, slow it down.
Some people off, but it has to be said. Not every tear means someone's a victim, and not every man is automatically the abuser. Let's talk about vulnerable narcissism in women, the face of narcissism nobody wants to address. We've been trained to see narcissism as arrogance, grandiosity, and entitlement, usually in men. But vulnerable narcissism wears a completely different mask. It hides behind pain, it hides behind sensitivity, it hides behind the very real experiences of trauma, but weaponizes those experiences as a tool to control. Here's how it plays out. A woman gets dysregulated and demands that her entire family reorganize around her emotions. She'll control partners with phrases such as, "You need to change if you want me to feel safe." She manipulates co-parenting dynamics. This is where I see it a lot, mandated co-parenting dynamics, by turning the children against their father because she feels threatened, abandoned, and wounded. Here's the part that stings. Yes, her pain is real, but that does not make her behavior healthy. Emotional dysregulation does not justify emotional control. Your trauma is not your partner's debt to pay. In fact, research shows that this is not just anecdotal. Dr. Pinnikus and Kane, they describe vulnerable narcissists as hypersensitive and control-seeking through victim narratives. In parental alienation research, we see clear patterns of emotional manipulation used as punishment in co-parenting dynamics. But what's really interesting in all of this, nobody wants to consider this abuse when it's wrapped up in female fragility. The Me Too movement exposed real abuse, but it also gave some women a shield to hide behind and to avoid accountability. If you cry enough, society will believe that you are the victim. But if a man did these same controlling behaviors, monitoring where you go, who you talk to, demanding constant reassurance, we'd call it emotional abuse. Control is control, no matter who is doing it. And sometimes covert female narcissism hides in plain sight because we confuse tears with truth. This is not about blaming women. Don't get your knickers in a twist, loves. This is about owning that dysfunction wears many faces. True healing requires that we are willing to call out unhealthy patterns. It's very easy for us to all do it externally until it's time to do it on ourselves, even when it's uncomfortable. Don't believe me? I'll link the research down below because knowledge is power.
And they had a whole panel on this, how some women use vulnerability and victimism as a way to manipulate. If I came out and said, Cassie's a stone cold manipulator, no, she's not. Oh, no, she's not. No, she's not. You don't stay in a relationship like that for 11 years and not own some accountability. And not own some accountability. Be accountable, Cassie, for your shit, for your lies, for your manipulation. You run, go get another boyfriend so Diddy can have a heart attack. That's your way of getting attention. Be accountable, Cassie, for your tears when you get caught up in situations you don't know how to explain. Yeah.
No, I mean, I definitely agree with you with that. And it's a hard pill to swallow, like somebody just said, hip hop culture. It's a hard pill to swallow to realize that, hey, you know what? I was in a bad situation. And not saying that what happened to you was bad, but you got to take ownership. You put yourself in that situation. You had a choice, right? So, and I that's how I feel through this whole trial, that they'll come up with this, I'm the victim, they'll cry, because they know most people would say, hey, you must always believe the victim. But like I said before, to always believe the victim, you always crucify the accused with no proof. So it's a way to try to balance out. That's why you do have court. Listen to the person, hear it out, if it makes sense. But don't just jump to conclusions. And then people will say, oh, you just making excuses for Diddy. I don't think I made no excuse for Diddy. I just said, hey.
Because we could talk about Diddy's part all day long. They'll sit and listen. Yeah, get him, hang him to the cross. Yeah, get him. Then we go, okay, let's talk about Cassie's side, what she did wrong. Huh? She's a victim. Don't blame the victim. She's not a victim. Nobody's a victim. You have the ability in life to say no, to be in a situation you want to be in, to live the way that you want to live. But some people feel powerless and haven't found their voice. And when I last checked, Diddy had 2 doors that opened. They wanted to be there. That's how you can explain the back and forth between the text messages. One day they feel this way, the next day they feel that way. They were all drug addicts. Not one drug addict can be trusted. They just can't. If you've been an addict yourself, you know I'm telling the truth. All addicts lie because their God becomes whatever the substance is that they're hooked on.
Mm-hmm.
Once you become an addict, you are a liar and you will do anything to get your fix. You will lie, cheat, steal, and hurt people if that's what it means. So I do have the strength and the sense to say, yeah, Diddy's a bad person. But then there's a part 2 of this conversation, and that's Cassie's ass using tears and what happened to her to manipulate the weak that don't want to look at themselves. I can't go through life blaming everything on everybody else. At some point in my life, I have to shut up and take a look in the mirror. Everybody's life is going the way that it's supposed to go because of their choices. If my marriage goes south with Perry, I played a blame in this too. So let's stop acting like Cassie's a little virgin, innocent, married that I didn't know anything about oral until I met Diddy. Bitch, stop lying.
Mm-hmm. Lips was trembling on the first day. No, just say,
people don't understand. It's a whole second part. But what they do is they'll gang together the victims. This is why you should never call yourself a victim. You should never call yourself a victim because everybody has something in life that you have to overcome. You have to be strong enough to overcome it. Some might be addicts. Some might be ex-addicts. Some people might be bad mothers. Everybody has their vice. Pick it. One isn't worse than the other. But it's about growing, being better, knowing that you do have a voice and choosing the choices that you want to make in life. You all want to act like Cassie was kidnapped, made a victim, cuffed to the bed. When you let somebody pee in your mouth, you're no victim. When you let somebody do anything they want to you, you're no victim. So I'm just tired of the BS. Cassie's not a victim. Cassie is a participant in this sick, drugged out life they all had going. But we're going to get an overzealous prosecutor to throw some charges, put the big mean black victim away for life. We're going to give Cassie 20 million. Let me tell you, Cassie can't hide who she is. When her dirt starts coming out and y'all are like, this girl's a manipulator and she's confused. When Alex leaves her ass, don't come back. Well, I was one of the ones. I didn't know. Yeah, I'm telling you, she's not a victim. She's not even a survivor. She's a manipulator. Yep. I've had women in my chat that says, hey, I was AR'd before, or I was touched as a little girl, and I had to work that shit out. It's not the victim's channel. It's not the victim channel. When y'all come over here and y'all want to talk, we're going to ask you, well, what's your part? Because it's so easy to come up here and talk about somebody else. The hardest thing to do is to talk to yourself and admit some wrongs that you're doing. Everybody. No, a lot of people do that. This new Diddy group, this new hate group, y'all love pointing fingers at him all day long.
Yeah, Sharrell.
I need you to listen to what I'm saying, Christina. There were many opportunities for Cassie to get out of that relationship. And I want you to listen to me hard. She chose to stay. She chose to go to the freak offs. She chose it.
Yep. No matter how you look at it.
Hold on, Perry. I'm talking woman to woman, and I'm being real with her. Cassie's not a victim. Whatever happened to you, you're not a victim. But when you do that, you stay in that mentality. When you play victim, then you stay in that mentality. Why don't we grow, move forward, and become a role model of what not to do? And it really is going to pain you. But ask yourself, who made Cassie go to the freak offs? Who made her call the escorts? Who made her pick out the outfits? Especially out of everybody, she was the main one setting up the appointments. But it's a hard thing to do. You have to take a look at yourself, Christina, and say, Cassie's not innocent. You don't have to listen. But your life is going to be effed up until you grow up and realize people can use R as a manipulating tool. Nobody I know writes their accuser and say, I had fun last night. Who has fun being R'd? Who has fun being R'd? Cassie's full of shit. Cassie's going to pay for the things she's doing. Because everybody's so blinded by Diddy and the things that he did was crazy, he's going up the river, in my opinion. He's going up the river. Even though this started with Diageo, nobody hardly talks about that. They just want to talk about what a bad person he is and what a bad man. When Diddy goes up the river, your life, your personal life, is not going to be any better. This case has turned political. Just like, when the country goes to WAR, there's nothing we can do about it, but it affects everybody's lives who's sent their brother, uncle, father over there. I have a motto in life. All money ain't good money. She stayed for the money. It is what it is. Y'all can crucify all day, and you will be right in saying what Diddy did wrong and what kind of person he is. But there's a part 2 to the conversation. There's a part 2 to the conversation. I don't let anybody pee in my mouth, and I'm the victim. And it really demeans the real victims, like the people who get abducted. You got this bullshit over here, so she doesn't escape, so she doesn't get any prison time. I'm gonna make a deal and I'm gonna act like I'm the victim. This case is complicated, but I was talking to somebody this weekend and was like, some of these cases are very complicated. And I said, I'm going to still follow them. I'm going to follow the Carmelo Anthony case, even though it's so divided. We're going to get in one room and we're going to talk about it. Just because there's so many opinions on this trial here, we're going to talk about Diddy, and then we're going to talk about the other ones too. And maybe, just maybe, somebody will get something out of it and learn. Go ahead, Perry.
Oh yeah, no. I was just saying, it's some updates been coming down.
Yeah, go ahead.
Oh well, hold on. I'm gonna go to that girl because we missed some. Because hers normally have numbers. Let me see.
Yeah.
I mean, he basically just give them jury instructions. That's.
I'll start. It says, this is the judge. Court 1, charges from 2004 to 2024, a racketeering enterprise. Count 2, from 2009 to 2018, ex-trafficking of Cassie Ventura. Count 3, from 2009 to 2018, transportation transporting individuals, including but not limited to Ventura, for purposes of prostitution. Judge has count 4 from 2018 to 2024, trafficking of Jane, count 5 from 2019 to 2024, transporting individuals, including but not limited to Jane, for the purposes of prostitution. Each count is separate. So now he's laying out the jury instructions. So we knew about that. So he's just laying out the charges and the dates, right?
Yeah.
That's five counts. Go ahead, 4 counts.
You're going off the main, right? So I can
Mhm.
make sure I'm right. Okay. And then I just keep checking for things. But no, I mean, what you're saying is true. Like, the whole thing is this. People will want you to think, oh, just because you want justice, that you get to swing to the left or the right. We talking about the charges. If they would have had weapon charges and proved it, or whatnot, or if it was a DV charge, everybody's saying yes. His attorney said he would have pled guilty. Or, I'm just saying that some people want to take this stuff and act like just because a person cry, that you must believe them. There's a lot of users out there. Now, is it real victims? Yes, of course. I'd be a fool not to say that. And people with back people that's faking, those are people who actually making the real victim should be upset at. The real victim should be more upset of somebody using their trauma to escape accountability or to gain money chase.
Cassie's such a manipulator. She wanted to be with him. She would get into these other relationships so she can get the attention that she needed, but she was no victim. When you open your mouth and ask a man to pee in it, you're no damn victim. I was so done when I found out that she suggested that. She is nasty. Judge, for attempt, the U.S. must show intent and a substantial step taken. More intent does not amount to an attempt. Aiding and abetting means knowing, doing some act to aid in or encourage a crime to be committed. That's very, very important. You have to do this intentionally with the intent to commit a crime. With the intent to commit a crime. They're rewording stuff. Let me put this up. Hold on. It's very important. The things that he's saying. You got to prove that this was a criminal organization that intended to benefit either through money or some kind of financial gain. All of them. So if that's true, it really contradicts themselves, because if this was a intentional organization, then Cassie's really no victim because she knew what she was doing the whole time. So even the jury instructions are contradicting.
Yep.
How we got to prove that these people intentionally committed crimes. And by the way, Cassie's a victim. Well, then you wouldn't intentionally commit anything. If she's the victim, ride with me, people. Ride with me here. Listen to what I'm saying. You have to prove that this was intentional intent, right? This is intentional. We're going to make money off of this. We're going to intentionally commit a crime. Then how is she a victim? I'll wait.
And then I say this too, right? I mean, a lot of people got to come in here with an open mind, because Charge, she had wrote this earlier. She says things sure have changed since the trial started. It probably should, because people come in with the notion with all these allegations, and you might believe one thing, but believing an allegation don't really mean shit until you start seeing proof of it. A lot of people came in just believing all these things happen. And whether they happen or not, they didn't hit the courtroom. So when you go to court, you judge it based off testimony, evidence, things that you may believe and some things you may not. So you'll be one of these people that came into this court believe in one way, and no matter what they say, you're going to think the same way. That means you didn't listen to the thing and you didn't honestly judge the evidence and testimony. That's what I think.
Yeah, it's crazy when people say, "Oh, things have changed," or "You're flip flopping." You damn right I changed. I listened, and I made a decision. When you know better, you do better.
Mm-hmm.
It's so crazy. They feel like, well, you started out liking Cassie till I found out what a manipulator she was. And what did that lady call it? She uses her tears as weapons. She knows that she does. She's the type. You guys know the type. Do you guys know if somebody did something wrong and they know men can't stand to see women cry? They'll cry all the time. Like, I just no. I'm not falling for your tears. You're full of it. Be accountable, Cassie. Be accountable.
And then I would say, was she crying when she was cheating with Kid Cudi? Was she crying when she got with the trainer?
It's not just Cassie. All of them are very foul people.
Yeah, no.
All
I mean,
of them.
see, Cassie is the one most people put on that model. Everybody know, even the ones who want Diddy to do life in prison, pretty much sure Jane is a 304. They probably say that themselves. So I'm just saying Cassie is the one people have most of their thing on. Yes, she's a victim of DV, but these freak offs and things like that, a lot of it was done by her own choice. She even booked the appointments.
I'm going to read this one. I don't know how. This is Judge, for attempt, the U.S. must show intent and a substantial step taken. Mere intention does not amount to an attempt. Aiding and abetting means knowing, doing some act to aid or encourage a crime to be committed. It's very contradictory. So you're saying you gotta prove that they knew this was a criminal act and they committed the criminal act anyway, right? That means you're well aware what you're doing. Well, if they were perfectly understanding they were committing crimes, then Cassie's no victim. So these jury instructions is just as confusing as everything else is, and it's confusing because you want to say this man is the only one that committed these acts because you gave everybody else a pardon. Here we go. Very important. Listen to this. Very important. For RICO, the U.S. must prove that from 2004 to 2024, there was an agreement between two or individuals for a racketeer enterprise that impacted interstate commerce, that the defendant joined and committed at least two predicate acts. I'm going to read the most important part of that. There was an agreement between two or more individuals. So I'm going to get with Diddy. We're going to plan these freak offs. We know they're illegal. We're going to do it anyway. If that was the case, then you don't have a victim named Cassie. I'm going to say the most important part of this. You have to prove there was an agreement between two or individuals. You're telling me that all these people got together, knew exactly what they were doing, and let's have these freak offs anyway, because that's what the case is about. The freak offs. Let's not be crazy. Let's not be fooled. It ain't nothing else. It ain't about the Kid Cudi. It's about the freak offs. Well, then you don't have any victims, and that's what makes this case so asinine. You're all over the place. And I cannot believe a woman of this modern day era would even bring this to court. Your father is James Comey. You're supposed to be the elite group of the bunch. Here we go. We got another update. The U.S. must prove a mutual understanding to cooperate. You may infer its existence from the circumstances of this case. Actions may speak louder than words. You may consider the act of all those you find to be participants. So don't come in and try to say, well, don't think about what everybody else did. Let's just focus on Diddy. Then you don't have a RICO if we did that. RICO is an organization, an enterprise. You said it. It's an enterprise. We all got a meeting of the minds. I'm so over this case, and I'm going to go crazy. We're going to develop groups. I'm going to do like Karen Reed did. We're going to gather supporters for Diddy. If he goes down the aisle, we're going to fight for his freedom because he shouldn't be the only one in there. If you're going to let them all go, then let them all go. If you're going to lock them up, then lock them all up. We ain't going to have no imbalances here. And we really got to organize, and y'all don't have to. I'm doing it because my conscience is telling me to. There's this railroading somebody in broad daylight.
Yeah.
Because if this was a real RICO case, everybody would have been charged. But they couldn't do that because you would have no witnesses. You would have no witnesses.
If it was a real RICO charge, they wouldn't have to go through the measures to all these freakouts. They would just pull out financial records. They would have showed you where everybody had something to gain.
And how the enterprise benefited. Where was the money going? You gonna send me a bill? Cassie gave him $5,000 here for 4 hours. That's not an enterprise, ma'am. Because now Diddy's paying out the money. You tell me how he's gaining from the enterprise. Now, who runs a business where you paying all the bills and you don't gain not one single profit? Tell me whose enterprise gains not one single dollar.
And then, like he said, I got to be in agreement among a group of people, at least two. Now, if I was with Diddy, how am I benefiting when he's sitting in the corner watching his lady and some other man? Where's my benefit? Why would I set that up like that?
Or how are you gaining from that financially, Perry?
Right, exactly. No, that's the whole thing. Not even pleasure-wise. People say, well, it don't have to be monetary.
They did not bring out bad boy records. They didn't say, well, we don't know where this money came from.
Right.
That could be laundering or from his substance trafficking, because y'all just saying that's how he's making his money.
Mm-hmm.
Railroading in broad daylight. But somebody like Casey Anthony can come in, all the signs there, unalive her daughter, and walk out a free woman. And no one say anything. Sharrell, it's not always about race. Yeah, white people get railroaded too. And we stand up for them too. We have a flawed justice system. And they're trying to make it worse. They're trying to make it, well, if we don't like you, we can put you away. And we don't even need to claim no laws. And y'all down for that. I can put you away because I don't like the way you comb your hair. I can put you away because I'm jealous of you. I can put you away for any reason. The most special and best thing it used to be about living in the United States was laws and all these freedoms we had. We were allowed to speak up. We were allowed to live our life. But somebody doesn't want it to be that way anymore. Someone wants to have one ruler to tell you all peasants what to do.
Yeah, because the only people who really benefited was Diddy for his guilty pleasure, the women for getting a free D and a paycheck, the dancers getting paid. Those are the three people that benefited. So where is this RICO? Where is this enterprise? Like,
here we go.
Go ahead.
The judge says, if you find that Combs enterprise existed, you must find whether it continued in a substantially similar form from 2004 to 2024. The people can change. As to the defendant being a member, he had to know of the existence of the enterprise. But you haven't proven to me, sir, that there's an enterprise where all of these people intentionally committed crimes. and how they benefited from the enterprise. Where's the dirty money? How you gonna ask me to send somebody away for life for being a criminal by delivering substances? Where's that money at? Now, I know he didn't put his career on the line to make no money for being a trafficker. Where's the money?
Yeah.
You ask me something so important as to put a person away for life. I believe in putting people in prison for life. I believe in the death penalty. But it has to be, what's that little word? Beyond a reasonable doubt. And you really want me to believe that this powerful enterprise committed all these crimes for no money?
Yeah, because he's basically saying if you think it existed. So he's not telling, he's just giving them instructions. You must find whether it continued from 2004 to 2024. As a defendant being a member, he had to know of the existence of the enterprise. Like, hey, I'm going to be your mob boss or something. He had to know that he was coming into a thing. Go ahead, Sharrell.
Well, I just wanted to support what this person's saying. That's why you're innocent until proven guilty. You have to prove somebody guilty. But what this case is doing is trying to set a new precedent for they can just send people to prison for whatever they want.
Mm-hmm.
I don't like the way he acts. He asked for 50% of my company. I'm going to bring this ninja down and remind him who he is.
Yeah.
It's been done before. You too proud over there, boy. What you doing over there, boy? Oh, you think you gonna ask me for 50% of my company? Well, I'm gonna show you who you are, and I'm gonna put you in your place where all Black people are supposed to be. See, if you are a white person and you watch the Karen Reed situation, now you know how it feels. Only reason Karen Reed is out and she's truly innocent is because she had money to pay for good attorneys. If you're poor supporting this case right here, aren't you just pow-powing yourself in the foot? Because you, just like the rest of us, you don't have any power unless you have money. And that's not a race thing. That's a true statement. We're turning into a two-class system. There's no such thing as the middle class anymore. Two-class systems. No moms hardly stay at home anymore. No moms is worrying about their children and raising, that kind of lifestyle. You gotta work. You gotta work. The United States is turning into a hellhole, and it's an embarrassment from around the world. Everyone's looking at us saying, look at them. Look at them over there.
And baby,
you
nice
voted for a one-party leader. You wanted someone to be a dictator. It's just insane. United States is a disgrace. What were you saying, Perry?
Oh no, I was thanking Baby Nice for becoming a member.
Mm-hmm.
Well, honey, we're gonna see how this goes. I mean, and
I'm not gonna watch it. I know what's gonna happen. I'm getting ready for the second trial or any kind of acquittal. I'm gonna put my money where my mouth is. I'm gonna help. So we're getting things together, and we're gonna take the lead from Karen Reed trial and pound the pavement and start brick by brick. It's no way in this world where Diddy should be in bars for the rest of his life. Cassie walks away with $30 million, $30 million. And now all of these lawsuits, they're going to eat up his money. That should not be allowed on. If you had money and you worked hard for it, that should be your money. I can't have someone come in my life, say I'm guilty, and let me take your money because of the forfeiture law, and I'll distribute it the way I want to distribute it. Hell, I might just put myself in there. I deserve $1 million just for being brilliant enough to come up with this strategy. There's no planet on earth where you will want anybody to take your hard-earned money. You tell me how that's okay. So, I feel like the fix is in. They're going to send them up the river. We're going to start a grassroots effort to put as many eyes that count on this as possible, even if it is 47, because I'll be damned if I live in a country like that now, where they can just come in and call me guilty and send me away for the rest of my life without any proof. It's no proof. Diddy gained a dime out of the enterprise.
You got to update.
Judge says the U.S. alleges 8 predicates: kidnapping, arson, bribery, witness tampering, forced labor, sex trafficking, transportation for prostitution, intent to distribute narcotics. Pardon me. The U.S. has to prove 2 offenses within 10 years. And because I'm passionate about this now, even more than Perry, my voice escalates. I just do that whenever I get pumped. So I'm not trying to yell. It just, when I'm passionate about something or pissed off about something, my voice escalates. And some people can't stand that, but that's just how I am. I've been that way. I have like an Italian family. We're always screaming at each other. We have this person, brilliant person right here. No matter what y'all think, law is the law. Can you tell me how he made his illegal money? I'll wait. Can you tell me that? Ms. Brown, can you tell me how Diddy made his illegal money? No one said anything. Let's just let this person speak. She wants to speak. She's confident in her opinions. So, and we let you have your opinions over here. We also ask, why do you feel that way? Can you tell me where he made his illegal money? No one say anything. Let's let her respond. Here we go. Oh, I already did that. Tell me how he made his illegal money. Here she goes. She goes, why do you think his money wasn't illegal? No, I didn't ask you what I thought. I said, can you tell me how he made his illegal money? We'll wait. Don't change the subject. Just answer that, and then I'll answer anything you want. Put it in writing where the illegal money came from, and then we can finish the conversation, because I didn't ask you that question. I said, can you tell me how he made his illegal money? I'll wait. No one please respond. Let her respond. She asked me, why do I think his money wasn't illegal? Okay, so you must think it's legal. Show me. Perry, how do you think he made his money illegally?
Well, I mean, nobody showed me no proof of him making money illegally. I mean, I would assume all those hits, all those the royalties off his music and stuff that he produced and everything, that's where he got his money from. That's how he
You
had.
think that people really make money from owning a record company?
Yeah, well, yeah,
Oh, okay, it happens on a daily basis.
yeah, yeah.
Want to make sure you were firm in your convictions. This case is bullshit. It's bullshit. But that's okay.
So, and then I would say this too, that you says, if people can have an opinion, then why question their opinion? Because somebody questioned our opinion, and this is an adult channel, and I
Aren't
think
that what we're doing here?
I think we
Asking each
can
other
have a
for
conversation.
what we
Yeah,
think.
yeah. That's why. Now, whether we change your opinion or not doesn't matter, because you know what? We get to the intersection. You might go left. I might go right. Now, nobody know what the outcome gonna be, but it's up for you. It's a choice I made and a choice you have made. So, it to me, you know what, Sharrell, and
I'm laughing at this.
no, but I was
Amen. So sometimes white people will want to help Black people because they feel it's just unfair. And then sometimes people, like the whole Karen Reed thing, realizes, hey, United States is unjust, and they'll admit to it. Then there's other people that, no, racism doesn't exist anymore. That's only a figment of your imagination. You know, we're allowed to call the National Guard or the military for a protest, but you and have how many hundreds of people there to break up the protest, but you can go in the Capitol as long as you want and tear it up. Tear it up and go home and get a good night rest and nobody gets arrested.
Mm-hmm.
What? Where was the National Guard then? They were breaking the windows to get inside our Capitol building. So, you know, got a lot of white people on my channel. They understand when it's time for me to stand up for my folks. And none of his acts affected public community, okay? You know, unfortunately, it's just not my thing. That lifestyle is really not my thing. But I don't want anybody in my bedroom telling me what to do. If you want to do that, open your mouth and let somebody pee in your mouth, I guess it's okay. I think something wrong with you. But you should be able to do that. And the most best thing about the United States is we had freedom to live our life the way that we wanted to, long as it didn't break the law, freedom of speech and stand up for what we want to believe in, as long as it didn't break the law. We could protest and voice our opinions if it was the masses feeling a certain way. We're not allowed to do that no more. I mean, y'all don't get it? Remember that little law that passed? If a leader's in power and a WAR occurs, they have the right to remain the leader. What just happened here?
What?
We just went to WAR. Who's our new leader? He gonna stay there.
Yeah.
He gonna stay there. We just became a communist country. That's so crazy. Y'all ain't saying nothing about that. Y'all worried about Diddy. Y'all worried about Diddy and what he did and what he doing in his bedroom and how he's such a bad person. Y'all should have y'all focus in other areas in our life, especially when somebody wants to be in control of what you do, what you think, where you live, how you think, what you see. You know, everybody knows our social media is propaganda. Remember the Chinese let it out the bag?
Mm-hmm.
Censored. I could type up one thing here in the United States, call my nephew in England, two different things pop up, censored. Y'all don't worry about that. Y'all just worry about Diddy.
See, look, and this is what I think too. Like, we all know people, relatives or whatever in your community. Some of them choose not to get a job. They go into the street pharmaceutical business. Everybody know what I'm talking about. And that certain things comes with that. Factors. Getting arrested, getting pow, things like that. When you enter the lifestyle, certain things come with that job title too. So a lot of people that's not about the lifestyle look at it like, oh, this person was treated dirty. These people know what kind of ring they entered. You know what I'm saying? That this what happened in the lifestyle. People get sucked up, used. Either you the rich person getting used for your money, or you one of these girls or guys that's getting used for your body. Certain things come with the territory, is basically what I'm trying to say. But everybody want to act like, oh no, these girls are innocent. But and if I ask you guys, you probably say, oh no, why would they lie? For money. Why would the guy in front of 7-Eleven lie? He ran out of gas. He just came in town. He was going to see his grandmama at the hospital. You have users in this world. And you can't convince me and tell me that everybody in this chat haven't at least once experienced that in their life. Somebody trying to use their ass. And these girls to me are users. Is Diddy a freak? Diddy know that his money would get behaviors out of people, and that's what he used it for. You got some gullible girls that would do anything for $1, so he just put the dollar out there.
Are they really gullible, Perry?
Well, no. I mean, I'm saying, well,
You
no.
can't convince me Jane is gullible when she's saying, I'm innocent to all this, but I have a clear, solid track record of being caught up in that life and using men for money.
Okay, maybe gullible ain't the right word. I'm saying, did he know that with money and fame, if somebody would drop their morals and do anything to attain that money, and that person on the other side know that somebody would be willing to pay. So no, not gullible in the sense that she was groomed. Of course, I don't believe that. She had her agenda. Diddy had theirs. Both sides was mutually. It was consensual for both. He'll give money. They'll do the freakness. So that's how I see it.
Yeah, you'll have to start a grassroots record because we can't let this stay on the books like that, or they'll be using that RICO against everybody, any and everybody. You notice how they arrested Tyrone Blackburn, but not Tony Busby? Coincidence? I think not. See what y'all thinking. Diddy stole from Riff, from Every Breath You Take, and made a lot of illegal money off of it. Filthy thief. Can you tell me how he made the illegal money? That's it, Linda. Where did he, we want to grow. No one answer anything. Where did the illegal money come from, Lisa? Linda, ma'am. Where did it come from? You guys let her respond. Just a normal conversation. I may even take calls after the jury instructions. I need Linda to tell me where the illegal money came from.
And did he get charged with it or something? Diddy stole the real
Hi, Freddie.
Take and make a lot of legal money off of it. What's up, Freddie?
This is my friend. He's Caucasian. He knows there's shit going on in the United States. Everybody knows United States has an illness called racism. Sting gets a fortune for Diddy using Every Breath You Take riff. Oh, I know. He makes a lot of money. So then why would he be why would he sell illegal substances? Just from that song alone. Why would he do that? And Linda, are you still there?
I'm not sure how illegal it was, because what Freddie's saying too, Sting is getting their money. So what was stolen? And even say if you feel like it was stolen, if they worked it out and got their money, well, there we go. I don't get. Well, you know how people got to bring stuff up like that? He didn't pay his artists because they can't find nowhere in this whole situation that Diddy is making a profit off something. His money is stolen now.
Lorraine says, please, y'all, stop making excuses for Diddy. He's been hearing artists' confessions for years. Don't turn a blind eye anymore. It's how victims stay victims. What am I turning a blind eye to? Can you tell me how Diddy made illegal money, Lorraine? Please, because you're very opinionated. Just answer that question.
Let me answer.
Let me read this.
Okay, you got something?
Kidnapping does not occur if the victim consented. Consent may be withdrawn. Arson under the California law means the conspirator set fire or caused the fire willingly or maliciously. This right here is the most important in this statement. They said that kidnapping does not occur if the victim consents. That's the most important thing in that sentence. So we can stop it with the kidnapping.
Oh yeah, we should have stopped that when they mentioned it.
We could, if she consents, if I say you want to go with me and you say okay, is that kidnapping? If you're dragging me down the hall and the police come and you, where you drag? No. Is that kidnapping? Just want to know. Just want to know. Thank you for the super chat.
Yeah, thanks, Lorraine. But I would say this, Lorraine. See, nobody's saying that you can feel a certain kind of way with Diddy. And when you bring up the artist, right? He's all these people, whether he paid them fairly or not, is not on trial. It's not part of this RICO. Now, the thing would be, tell me what artist civically took his ass to court, civilly, right, to sue them. It's a place for that. We're not saying that's a contract issue. And music companies do it all the time, not justifying it, but it's recourse. If they got proof, they should sue him. Now, back to the RICO.
Not paying artists correctly. He did not pay his artists correctly. Neither did Tommy Mottola. Neither did Clive Davis.
Mm-hmm.
Neither did Lucian Grange, who is just making a killing. David Geffen. Name me one record company where new artists don't complain about their money. LaFace Records, J Records, Rap-A-Lot Records. They really complain about Rap-A-Lot.
Right.
Name me one business. Everybody knows that one, if you sign your life away to the music company, you're working for pennies, especially that first contract. Two, nobody's making money in music company anymore. They have to tour. That's where they make their money. I was watching Nelly and Ashanti last night. That was her biggest complaint. I just got a newborn, but I got to hit the road because that's how they make their money. But most of all, that's not on trial here. What does that have to do with anything?
Right. And then at the same time, this happens, right? Most of these artists that say Diddy ripped them off or any other record company ripped them off, they also come back and say, I signed a shitty deal. People got the right to take the contract, to have their own attorney look at it before they sign it. These people got to take accountability too. Yeah, you was eager. You couldn't wait to move on, so you signed it, but you signed it. Right? And even if you feel like something else wasn't right, then you would just go forward. You would just go forward and take that person to court. So now we're going to get back to the RICO. And I need somebody to tell me, how is this an enterprise? And what did the enterprise gain out of it? Not even saying money. Just tell me what they gained from it.
You know what's really funny too? So they said Diddy's this bad person. And I think this was the funniest thing of the whole trial for me was Jane. Jane was all over the place. She's all over the place. Here we go. Bribery of a witness under California law requires a conspirator gave or promised to give a bribe to a person giving or about to give information to law enforcement. And unlawfully influence. Y'all read this with me again. Hold on. That's what he was talking about in his closing statement.
Mm-hmm.
Hold on. This is interesting, you guys. Look right here where it says, hold on. Make sure y'all can see. See right here where it says bribery of a witness under California law requires that a conspirator gave or promised to give a bribe to a person giving or about to give information to law enforcement,
Mm-hmm.
that's why he said that's not a crime in his closing statements. I'm going to go back and find that.
Yeah, to
It has
unlawfully.
to be a law enforcement involved.
Right, right. That's what we've been saying. Like, you got to be able to like take out like you're trying to stop from being prosecuted, right?
Oh,
Nobody
wow.
nobody was talking about sending anything to the law. Cassie had that choice. She didn't want the law involved. Cassie is the one with on the Facebook, I mean FaceTime, saying that she didn't want it, giving him the tape and stuff because she was coming out with some movie. They didn't want the bad press. Neither one of them. So that's when people always keep saying they know the law so much and it's RICO. For
I
the
read
people,
that correctly, right? I'm going to read it again. Bribery of a witness under California law requires a conspirator gave or promised to give a bribe to a person giving or about to give information to law enforcement. So if they said the police are coming and I'm going to tell the police about, I don't know, what you did, that's bribery. But
it's
if you just,
it's basically to stop an investigation, like to stop something for a proceeding. Nobody was going to the law at all. So, but these people who want to get Diddy life in prison because he gave somebody a shitty record deal, right? Is just going with these bribery stuff. That wasn't bribery. No, law enforcement was never ever called, right?
wow.
So it's
Wow.
almost like instructing justice, right? So you find a way to mess up an investigation that never happened. How did he mess up an investigation that never existed? For you law and crime people out there that know all the law, what's up with that?
What was the movie called that Cassie said she had coming out? Was it good?
I don't even know.
Oh no.
The only reason I know Cassie is at a little bit just because she was on Diddy's side. I don't know about no movie, no song.
So the bribery is out. It sounds like it. So the kidnapping is out. Sounds like that too. So the arson is out. It sounds like that too. It sounds like it. But you know,
And by the 4th of July, Diddy might be out.
oh no. No, he's not getting out.
But now, that's what me and you disagree. That's what I'm saying. People think we agree on everything.
We
I
do
think
not.
he'll be getting out and for sure just waiting to be processed out. If a verdict come in by then, it'd be something to that effect.
The movie was called Perfect Match. It was good. Yeah, yeah, sounds. Here we go, you guys. Let me see.
You got something?
Yeah.
Yep, you do.
All right, I'll look at this later. Here we go. It says, for witness tampering, I violation 18 section 1512B 3. It does not matter if the subject of the threat is in fact fearful. Only a threat is required, but it must be knowing. For forced labor, 18 section 1589 requires use of force or use of force of physical restraint. Okay, let's see if I can redo that. That's why they give so many charges, trying to make one stick.
Mm-hmm.
I hope you guys can see this, see where my cursor is. It says, for witness tampering, I violation 18 section 1512B 3, it does not matter if the subject of the threat is in fact fearful. So it could be considered, thank you for joining, it could be considered a threat even if you're not scared of the threat, okay? But it must be knowing, but it has to be a threat. For forced labor, 18 section 1589 requires use of force or use of force of physical restraint.
Right.
Did he physically touch anybody but Cassie and Jane that one time?
Right. I mean,
Did he force her for the freak offs?
no,
Did he push her in a room and say, "You're going to do it"?
not that I know of. No, I mean, because most of the time they came up. I'm sure looking good today. I got my mini on. I got this. They'll just prance their ass in the back room and lay down.
Listen, Angela, I want to say that too, but it can't be this easy. So maybe I'm not seeing something, or maybe I'm not gonna
Well,
say it can't be this, huh?
the prosecution never gave you anything but lip service. They could have been at the freak off the way their lips was moving. I'm just saying, at this point, Sharrell, if you look at it, I think Mia is the one with the forced labor.
Well,
right?
when he put her over the banister.
No. That's the lie. I ain't talking about bad.
Oh, but that's
I
bad.
mean, everybody can just disregard
Oh,
what she
Mia.
said.
What did Mia do? What did Mia?
She said that she had to stay up 5 days straight. And then on top of that, I just wake up and he on top of me humping.
I'm going to read this again, you guys. Forced labor requires use of force or use of force of physical restraint. What did he say to make her work? He didn't say anything. I don't think he said anything. Hey, Renee, no way in hell I could send this man to prison for life for being an abusive junkie freak. Just that women keep going back to. It's crazy to me.
Right.
Well, Renee, what do you think about this force? Mia, who the girl that works for him right now, she still works for him right now. We cannot claim force. She still works for Diddy.
Mm-hmm.
That's not force. She testified how she told him she loved him. She made him a little special gift. Do you remember that, guys? She made him a little special gift. We got to toss forced labor out. We've got to. Let's go to tampering. For witness tampering, it does not matter if the subject of the threat is in fear, well, in fact, fearful. Well, no.
Yeah, I mean, but did they ever show proof that he threatened a witness?
No.
Or something like that? I'm basically saying
she said that she was scared he was going to tell her about she was scared that he was going to tell her something about tell something to Cassie. I can't remember what it was. He was scared about that. She was scared. She said she was scared, and that's why she kept working with him, because she's scared he was going to tell Cassie. Do y'all remember?
Yeah, I can't remember about the tampering thing. So for the law wizards, I'm sure they'll come up with something. Just let us know if that's what happened.
Now Angela has a point here. He kept firing her. It's something I don't know. I just don't think it's going to be that easy. It's something I'm misinterpreting. I just can't believe it. There's something going on that I don't know about. She used the guy to get the 304 out of her. Y'all want to play. You remember, Renee? What was it that she kept working because she was scared he was going to tell Cassie something?
Oh, that they slept together, right? Was that it?
No, I don't think they admitted they slept together.
Oh, no. Mia. Okay, Cassie's supposed to have been Mia's good friend, according to Mia. And they was like, well, hey, when you just woke up and Diddy was humping on you, did you ever tell Cassie? No, because Diddy said if I was to mention it, he was going to say that she agreed to it. Or something to that effect, that she was down for the D.
Harry, you keep looking. Let me see if I can find out what that was. It says Mia testified that she continued working with Cassie despite the abuse and dangerous situations because she felt a strong sense of loyalty and fear. According to her testimony, she feared retaliation if she left or reported anything. She cared about Cassie and wanted to protect Cassie. She was traumatized and felt trapped in the situation when it involved prostitution, substances, and abuse. Even though she wanted to leave, she said she was emotionally manipulated and financially dependent on the job at the time. This kind of testimony is often to show how coercion or fear kept someone in a dangerous environment, which is relevant to ex trafficking and abuse at the center of the trial. But she was fired. She was fired several times and she came back. She still works for him now. Is she scared of him now?
She
should have just for him, huh?
He forced me to leave. Come on, and told you not to come back, but then ding dong, you back the next day, ringing the doorbell.
And she said he was a role model. She made him special gift. I believe it was on his 45th birthday.
And then how many times did she say she loved him?
She said she loved him
quite a bit.
Because Mia and him were sleeping together, I know. And Cassie was her friend. But I don't think they admitted it in court that they slept together.
Well, no.
Let me ask. Hold on, let me ask.
That's the only reason I would know about it. They had to mention something. I'm not psychic.
No, it was all, so you're getting mixed up between what you hear behind the scenes and what you don't. It says, yes, during her testimony in the Sean Diddy Combs trial, Mia testified that she did have sex with Diddy, but it was not consensual. She said he R''d her?
Yeah.
Oh, no.
No. See, that's what I'm saying. This is the first time after all the other stuff, the work labor stuff, and she was trying to file for money in a lawsuit before. For all these years, after making these scrapbooks for him and all that, she get to court now, and then she decided she was I
have an update.
Yeah.
A person may withdraw consent, and it may become forced labor. Ex trafficking will have the same definition in the courts 2 and 4, and transportation to engage in prostitution the same as count 3 and 5. Hold on 1 second, guys. Now these are getting pretty explicit, so let's just go over it. Here we go. A person may withdraw consent. So when I tell you no, that's when it stops. That's how I'm going to read that to me. So a person can withdraw consent, and it may become forced labor. We're talking about work here. A person may withdraw consent, like, okay, I'll do it. I'll do work this here, and then it may become, but withdraw it, and you make me do it anyway. It's forced labor. Ex trafficking will have the same definition as in count 2 and 4, and the transportation to engage in prostitution the same as count 3 and 4. Now, with this transportation, I'm hearing that this is a true charge, that this might be the one that gets him. But my question in that is, when he brought over the escorts, He didn't sleep with them. I wonder if that makes a difference. But I'm being told that's the one true charge that they can get him on. But that's one count. Far as this forced labor, nobody made her work.
Right.
So she claims that she had to do it, or he was going to tell about, was it the R? Wait, let me see. Mia emphasized that these encounters were not something she agreed to willingly. Let me read it again. She stated under oath that she was forced into X acts, often under pressure or while under the influence of substances. She described being trafficked and coerced into X acts as part of her employment. So I guess if she didn't do these X acts, he was going to fire her. Mia emphasized that these encounters were not something she agreed to willingly. Her testimony was central to the prosecution's claim that Diddy engaged in a pattern of X trafficking, abuse, and manipulation. And let me tell you why she has a problem with that. She kept saying how fearful she was with him, right? She actually told him that she loved him. She told him she had a crush on him. Now, so she acted that way after he so-called took advantage of her.
Mm-hmm.
That's kind of complicated. I think it depends on who you are. Would you say it was forced? Because if she didn't do it,
no. You know what? I'm gonna give you my opinion. That's how they trying to make it out to be.
mm-hmm.
Oh, I didn't know. I just realized my panties was down. Come on. She wanted it. Now, whether she thought, well, it could have worked. It got her promoted, didn't it? No. I'm saying the little coochie cooch got her ass promoted. And now they want to act like, oh, well, no, I didn't want to do it. Because me and Cassie was friends. No, you didn't give a damn about Cassie. You was worrying about your own career and how you wanted to advance. And you figure, well, you know, since I've been up for 5 days doing all this work, what if I give him a little side action? How would that elevate me? I know he likes it. So she gave him some. She got promoted. I don't feel like he took anything. Where's the proof? And I'm saying people can say anything they want to say. Where's the proof?
Also, too, that's going to be hard to say that you were scared of him because he fired you and you came back. It says here,
and then who reminisce off that shit?
It says there's Mira described being abruptly fired in late 2016 after Combs shut down his Revolt Entertainment Company. She said she was devastated, texting that her life was over and she was so brokenhearted she couldn't breathe. She says that she testified that after Cassie's lawsuit, Diddy and his associates repeatedly tried to contact her to influence her narrative, calls that left her feeling terrified, manipulated, and compelled.
And we got an update too.
Yes, she was fired, but later came back. That kills that noise. You went back.
Huh?
Next is distribution of narcotics, including this long word that you see here, knowingly and intentionally. Distribution means actual transfer to deliver to another person. For possession, physical custody is not needed. Control is enough. So right there, they're really trying to make it easy for you guys to say that he was a drug dealer. Crazy.
Let me read this super chat real fast. Hip hop culture judge says this, and she didn't even say it at the grand jury, meaning nothing came up about the assault until she was on the stand. Yep.
They're not going to know about that. These women are so full of shit. It's not even funny. Here we go again. It says judge. Next is distribution of narcotics, including this long word that you see here, knowingly and intentionally. Distribution means actual transfer to deliver to another person. For possession, physical custody is not needed. Control is. They can't say physical custody is needed because he didn't transfer shit. Okay. He had people go get it. And they're saying this, that let's just say this was a vial of something, right? If I give this to Perry, that's distribution. These are one of the laws that I'm saying that they're trying to change right in front of us. We know what distribution is. We've seen Pablo Escobar. We've seen El Chapo. We've seen the Flannery brothers. We've seen the actual dealer, Rick Ross. We've seen Black Mafia family. That is not distribution. So they're trying to make it illegal that if you go puff, puff, pass, and you pass, now you're a dealer.
Yeah. You don't
Puff,
get it
puff,
now.
pass, now you're a dealer. We cannot let them do this. Most addicts don't get high by themselves. You will be facing really, really hard charges, going to prison for life if they hate you, and they'll let some slide. Like, if you're a part of our government, they'll let it slide. But if you at home and you go puff, puff, pass, now you're a dealer and you can go for life.
Mm-hmm.
Diddy made money off of his artists, i.e. Puff, Nas, and other artists. And the rapper that used six, Jay-Z, then they canceled her.
Yeah.
A lot of people are bringing that up, that he made money off of his artists. And I always say, yeah, he did. Clive Davis did. Tommy Mottola did. LaFace Records did. Lucian Grange did. That's how the music business is set up. So if Diddy goes down for stealing from his artists, he needs to make room for some of the most powerful men in the world. That would be Lucian Grange. He should be sitting right next to him. So should Clive Davis. Damn this Alzheimer's that you got all of a sudden when you don't want to testify. Everybody should be, all the record heads, Jay Prince, Carl Crawford.
I mean, but wouldn't that just be a civil matter, though? I'm just saying, a civil matter that they may or may not even win based off the contract. We don't know what these contracts were. Most of these artists come back and say, we didn't read the fine print. That's on you. And I'm not justifying somebody being ripped off, but you got to take accountability. When you sign a contract and you don't understand it, you might want to have an attorney or somebody to look over it for you. Mm-hmm. But that would be a civil case. Let's talk about the things he did for the RICO. That's what he's being charged with right now.
And what dealer doesn't make a dime off of dealing? What that dealer doesn't make a dime off of dealing? Diddy was damn near a billionaire. And as much as you don't like him, off of legal money, he doesn't need to deal. Make it make sense. Make it make sense. Sharrell, people only complain about Puffy. They don't complain about the white record executives. That's what we were talking about. They invented the game. Chess records, y'all seen it. Frankie Lyman, Why Do Fools Fall in Love? Y'all seen it. It's been going on for the beginning. Just from the very beginning. If you're an artist, you know your first album is going to be, you're not gonna make much money off your first album. Now, if you are, I don't know, one of the biggest artists, they might give you a little cash, but they're scared y'all gonna turn around and outsmart them like Michael Jackson, and then they gotta make you look like the villain too. Most people don't get an entertainment lawyer. They just get a regular lawyer. The artist should always seek to have an entertainment lawyer to review the contracts. Just saying.
Yeah. I mean, you got to have somebody know the business, knowing the loopholes where a company might try to get you or what you need that's going to benefit you. as an artist, right? So, but even if you could feel like he robbed the people, a lot of people have said it, and I know that's how I go. I've been hearing this story for a long time. That would be a civil matter. So people are using these other things to say RICO. That's what we focusing on right now. Is this a RICO? Is this a criminal enterprise? It don't look like it to me.
I met Biggie, not Puff. Biggie, he stole from Biggie. He stole from everybody. Just ask Mace. He'll tell you the story. Ask Cameron, he'll tell you the story.
Mhm.
It's just a mess. Let's just say that he did do that. No, he did do that. Let's not say, let's just say, no, he did do that with a roster of, oh, did you guys hear about Aubrey O'Day this weekend? Girl, you had a chance to take the stand. You didn't want to do it. Okay. Now she's fearful that if he gets out, he'll be after her.
And she's gonna move to Bali or something like that.
Yeah.
It was some ridiculous shit like that.
Why are you scared, Aubrey? Why would he care? A lot of people lied on him. Is he gonna come after Sharrell's world? No. Is he gonna go after well, did any celebrity come out publicly against Diddy?
I don't think so.
Not one celebrity?
I don't think none came out and said nothing negative to him. I don't think none came out and publicly supported him either. Because Aubrey O'Day, I don't call her no celebrity. And I don't in my world. So I don't know if you guys do or not. She almost like a person that's always looking for attention. You got to update.
Okay, hold on. Okay, here we go. Judge, RICO has a 5-year statute of limitations. You must find that it continued past 2019. If you find that government had not proved this beyond a reasonable doubt, you must find the defendant not guilty. Oh, wow. We got something to talk about on this one, y'all. Let me rewrite. Says Kanye West is the only celebrity that came out to publicly support Diddy. All right, y'all, let's get to it. I hope y'all can see it. It's this right here where my cursor is. Most important thing, okay? RICO has a 5-year statute of limitation. You must find that it continued past 2019. If you find that the government has not proven this beyond a reasonable doubt, you must find the defendant not guilty. Let me reword this. If it doesn't fit, you must acquit. Sounds like something right out of the Johnny Cochran book.
And then as far as their job, if you didn't quit, you ain't shit. Okay, I was just being silly. Go ahead. Let's roll.
Hold on. Hold on.
No, I mean, now that's really good right there, though, because 5 years, that pretty much just lock him up with Jane.
Hold on. That's what I'm going to check. That's exactly what I'm going to check. It says that Diddy and Cassie officially broke up in 2018. Oh, wow. Do y'all know what just happened here? You guys. So we're not talking about the Cassie years. We're left with the liar known as Daphne Joy, aka Jane.
Mm-hmm.
I cannot believe that. Just let me read it again to make sure I didn't read it wrong, because I might change my mind on him going, he might not go at all. Let's reread it, you guys. RICO has a 5-year statute of limitation. You must find that it continued past 2019. Oh, wow. So that means if they don't find crimes against James, yes, I cannot believe that just, oh my God, are y'all sure? I mean, what? So let me read it again. No, because, oh my God, you guys, it says Rico. So I hope this is big enough for you guys to see. Okay, here's my cursor. Rico has a 5-year statute of limitation. You must find that it continued past 2019. If you find that the government cannot prove cannot prove this, and then here's the kicker, beyond a reasonable doubt, then it gets worse than that. You must find the defendant not guilty. I don't know what to say. I don't know what to say. That's what it says. I done read this thing about 5 times. Let me read it one more time. Rico has a 5-year statute of limitation. You must find it continued past 2019. If you find the government did not prove this beyond a reasonable doubt, that's a key word. And then now you must find the defendant. I'm gonna read it again. You must find the defendant not guilty. Let me go up to this super chat so this means that if they don't find crimes against Jane, the case falls apart. Cassie was done in 2018. That's why they needed Jane. I'm not gonna. Doesn't mean they're gonna find him not guilty, but why? If I just read this and I was a juror, my first thought would be, then why are we here? Then why are we here? Why did we hear all of that? Thank you, person for the super chat. I'm so sorry I didn't get your name. I was just stunned. Now I got to listen to my buddy Wayne. Sharrell, it has always been in the jury's instructions, but you were wilding out and missed it. We have always known this. That's Rico only, y'all. He's guilty on the other counts. Yeah, I guess I was wilding out. I kept arguing over the weekend. Please, not guilty. Love seeing you smile, Sharrell. No, I didn't smile. I did this. Like I had to double check and read it a couple more times. So Rico's gone. Now we got to look at the other charges. Wow. Why was the whole Cassie thing brought up then? Maybe for the other charges. Let me get a list of them again. What were they? Wow. Yeah. So they're trying to go for conspiracy? Okay, let me write that down. Okay. Okay. So y'all, it's official for us that Rico's off the table. Now, what did he just say? Hold on. Perry said they're not going after Rico anymore. They're going after conspiracy. I don't see that message. That's X trafficking they're going after, and XSA, the R, prostitution. Remember, I said that attorney told me that's the one thing that they're going to find him guilty on. Substance distribution, obstruction of justice, battery, unlawful surveillance recorder. Some victims say they were, no, that's not going to be on the table. So that's trafficking. That's trafficking. Then the R word, prostitution. That I heard that is definitely guilty across state lines in substance distribution. And then witness intimidation. I don't know what that is. Let me see. Okay, so now RICO's off the table. We're looking for substance trafficking. Let me go back to my list. I'll put it right here. Oh, no, I can't do that. Let me see this. So you guys are looking for X trafficking. I don't see that. R-ing. That would be, I wonder if we take Cassie off for that, or would that just be Mia? Drug distribution. Oops. I don't think the puff puff give law is going to pass. I don't think that's going to pass. See what y'all think. Yeah, that's what they're saying. They're saying that's the issue. The state crossing the state lines. Now they say that this law, the Mann Act, is rarely used. They could use it on lots of politicians. This is from what I heard. Politicians and stuff like that. It's rarely used, but this is a rare case, so they might use it. Oh yeah, that's right. Lil Boosie publicly supported Diddy, and Kanye West. My opinion, if it's that hard to understand to the jurors, this is because of a BS case. This is prosecution by emotions, not evidence. This is a Diageo influenced prosecution to neutralize Diddy because he was giving bad press to some powerful people who spends millions, lobbying the gov.
Yeah, but Sharrell, you gotta.
Without it, I got another one.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, here we go. On X trafficking, counts 2 and 4. Transport means to take or convey from one place to another. Reckless disregards satisfies the statute. The deliberate closing of eyes. You must be unanimous, on at least one specific instance of X trafficking. Now, I need more detail on that one. But nobody's being trafficked here. They're not. And that would be Mia's testimony. Let me do this. See right here, you guys? Here's my cursor. On X trafficking, counts 2 and 4. Transport means to take or convey from one place to another. Reckless disregard satisfies the statute. The deliberation closing of eyes. You must be unanimous on at least one specific instance of X trafficking. Now, I don't know what this means, so let me get a little more detailed. So for sure, you need 2 counts. So if you got the transport against it, okay. The prosecution has to prove that Combs knowingly compelled his ex, Ventura and Jane, to engage in commercial X acts through coercion or force. That's what I thought it was. I don't think he coerced or forced anybody to do anything. We know what Cassie, she was doing all the booking. And then she said that after he hired her, that it was fun and that it meant a lot to her and that she wasn't tripping off of it and she wanted a freak off. Here we go. On counts 3 and 5, knowingly transporting or arranging for the transportation for an individual for purpose of an act of prostitution, buying or arranging a ticket is enough. Prostitution does not need to be the main purpose. Think that's proven. That's proven. This is what I'm told by an attorney. They said everything else, no, but this is what I was told. And it's an old law that they don't usually charge people with, but because his name is P. Diddy, he's going to get charged with it. Here we go. On counts 3 and 5, knowingly transporting or arranging for the transportation of an individual for purpose of an act of prostitution, buying or arranging a ticket is enough. Prostitution does not need to be the main purpose. And so that's going to be, he's going to be found guilty on that. Hold on. And that's up to a maximum of 10 years. Okay, so that's, I'm told for sure that's going down. That carries a sentence, a maximum of 10 years. So we know he's going for 10. Lock us all up for that one. Oh my God.
No, but they're saying though, Sharrell, too, with that, they saying the maximum is like 10 years. Like some people do this stuff and they be having like 10 to 15 people they're doing it to.
Mm-hmm.
They saying that they do look at the maybe just his girlfriends, if that. But to be honest with you, people would say that about a law. But if I'm there, I'm still saying, look, these was dancers that you brung over. They do the dancing, whatever happened after that. But more than likely, if they get him on something, yes, it would be this. But I don't think he would get 10 years. Maybe
You don't?
a lot of people saying maybe 1 or 2 years, and then he might get time served. You know.
Okay, let's move forward. Judge says prostitution is engaging in actual activity for money or for equivalent. You must be unanimous on at least one specific act of transportation with intent to engage in prostitution or venue. The U.S. must prove at least one act occurred in the Southern District, 8 counties. Well, we already know, yeah, that. And hopefully he doesn't get the maximum 10 years for that. And he's going by himself to prison for prostitution when Cassie was at every freak off, and so was Jane. And here it is. Prostitution. You guys see me right here? Prostitution is engaging actual activity for money or its equivalent. You must be unanimous on at least one specific act of transportation with intent to engage in prostitution. On venue, the U.S. must prove at least one act occurred in the Southern District of New York, 8 counties. So that's a wrap. That's a wrap. You're doing too much guessing. This is what the show is about. You can go to another channel if you don't want to break them down. The ex-worker took the stand, so prostitution is proven. It's proven. This is, I don't think anybody's debating this one. We've heard too many times that, yes, although they don't use the law, most likely they're going to use it on Diddy. There goes Sharrell defending her best friend's actions. Sharrell. Who's that? I don't know who that is. I'm sorry. How can they even add bribery and arson? They have already proven it to be false. No police investigation, no DNA, no for arson. We've already talked about arson. You probably just entered. The only thing we're saying, they can't prove them on any of this stuff except this one right here. Transportation of prostitution across state lines. And that's a maximum of 10 years. But and they rarely use this law, I'm being told, especially like for high power people. Example, government, you know, they do a lot of freaky stuff like that. People in our government was charged for this, and they just usually don't use it. But they will do it for Diddy because the setup is in. Maureen Comey needs a win under her belt, and she's willing to do any and everything, send an innocent man up the river so she can get that win. Here we go. Judge says, we are in the home stretch. In weighing expert testimony, you should not accept it just because I allowed it. The testimony of the government officials are not worth of more or less weight than any other witness. I don't know what they're talking about. Let's read this again out loud. So really, everything boils down to this transportation thing?
That's what it sounds like.
That's what it sounds like. Here we go. You guys see where my cursor is right here? Let's read this. It says, this is the judge talking. He says, we are in the home stretch. We are weighing expert testimony. You should not accept it just because I allowed it. The testimony of government officials are not worth of more or less weight than any other witness.
Yeah, he's just saying just because they're an expert, supposed to be on the stand or whatnot like that, and he allowed.
Talking about like the lady that talked about DV.
Yeah, and I think what was that an expert and was another expert like a government? Well, I'm not sure. Maybe just that one then. But yeah, he's just saying just because they're supposed to be an expert, don't weigh it no different than the other liars on the stand.
Well, why would he say that?
Oh, because like some people think like because a person got the title expert that they must be right, and they might give it more credibility. Oh, she was an expert. We have heard people say this in the chat.
Right. No. That's what expert testimony is for. So why bring on the expert if you say you don't have to listen to him?
Right. they said don't give it no more weight than the other witnesses. Don't say.
Isn't that the purpose of bringing them on?
Yeah, that's the purpose. But I guess he's giving instruction to the jurors. Whoever using the expert witness, bringing them on, thinking the expert people, I think more highly of what they said than the other witnesses.
I get that part, and he's saying you don't have to.
Yeah. Well, he's saying that just to be an expert.
That's a weird thing for a judge to say.
I think it's the fair thing to say, though.
You think it's fair?
To say the expert, yeah. I mean,
See what y'all think.
these
Let's
them.
see what y'all think. I agree with the prosecution is arguing that they were hired for prosecution. I feel they should find him on NG on the charge since the prosecution wants to be so technical. I don't know what that means. He's talking about the psychologist that works for the state. She purged the stand also. She did. That's why he said, because I was thinking, why would a judge say that? They must have caught her in a lie.
Mm.
And that's why they're saying, take it with a grain of salt.
And was it
You can't even trust the damn testimony.
Said maybe it was the perjury that I'm going back now, that she never met with the victims or know their situation, but she had met with the prosecution multiple times. Maybe that could have been it.
She just threw her, the judge just threw the testimony out. You guys see my cursor right here? Here we go. The judge says, witnesses given immunity should be examined with greater can that ordinary witnesses. Charts and summaries, demonstrative aids are not evidence and will not be available to you in the courtroom. Now we got to break this down. You don't have to use the charts and the summaries that they gave you. They're not evidence. Charts and summaries, demonstrative aids, the things that they use to demonstrate, are not evidence and will not be available to you in the jury room. Why did you waste our time? Very weird. Very, very, very weird. Let's go to the first part of the statement. Witnesses given immunity, that's everybody. It's everybody. Should be examined with greater can than ordinary witnesses. This had to be a typo, or does this make sense to anybody? Witnesses given immunity should be examined with greater can that ordinary witnesses.
Greater than, maybe?
Let me see.
Maybe it's a typo. Maybe could it be greater than?
With greater, but the word can's here.
I know,
greater than ordinary witnesses. What y'all think? What y'all think? Oh, with greater candor. Okay. Really take these, take the witnesses that have immunity. That's everybody. Testimony real serious. That's what jury duty's about. Don't get it. Must be means something else. I don't get it. But anyway, and then they say throw out the charts and the summaries used to demonstrate on the stand. That's weird. Here we go. Certain witnesses were permitted to be identified by pseudonyms. That should bear on your evaluation of credibility. The defendant had no responsibility to testify, and he did not. You must not attach any significance to that. We got to go over that again. What? Y'all, we got to go over this with a fine-tuned comb. What? Here we go, right here. Right here. Y'all see me? Certain witnesses were permitted to be identified by pseudonyms. We know who it is. That should bear on your evaluation of credibility. I read, okay, y'all got to hold on, let me read. Just because it's government, that it's true. Okay, they're telling y'all they used a different name, an alias, that should reflect on their credibility. You should bear on your evaluation of credibility. So they use the alias for a reason. Maybe they're not credible. Is that what I'm hearing?
That's what it sounded like to me, but it just throwing me out. That shouldn't bear on your evaluation of credibility. Now, I would just take it and say, hey, well, you know, it's a
They
little,
may
little
be some
shaky.
liars.
Yeah, that would it sound like to me.
Well, what judge? What judge would say that? I'm gonna
Okay,
read it again, y'all. I am baffled.
just because it's the government that is true. So he gave an example, but I wanted to just show this. Maybe this might help us out. If they was truthful, there would be no need to hide their name.
Exactly. But the judge said it. And it's in the jury instructions. Wait. Come on, y'all. They playing with me. Why
Okay,
would the
and then somebody else saying this that should not bear on their credibility. Okay, so maybe when this guy typed the things, it could be
yeah,
a certain
maybe, because that makes no sense. Let's reread it.
yeah,
Certain witnesses were permitted to be identified by pseudonyms. Maybe they said that should not.
right.
I'm gonna
Bear.
add the word not because any other way sounds crazy.
Yeah.
That should not bear on your evaluation of credibility.
Mm-hmm.
But they did all lie, and he didn't address it. He didn't address the motion when filed about how he wasn't even in town for this dumb, meaning they have a reason to lie. I know that it just can't mean that. That just makes no sense. Like, no judge would say throw out Jane and Mia's testimony. Then they go in, the defendant has no responsibility to testify. We know that. And he did not. We know that. That must not attach any significance to that. I don't think people do. A lot of people don't testify. Here we go. This is tripping me out. We got to come back to that. Perry, can you screen that for me, please?
Okay, hold on. Let me see.
Screenshot. Here we go, you guys. Voluntary intoxication may negate an intent requirement of RICO predicates. Uncalled witnesses. You have heard names of people not called as witnesses. Each side had an equal opportunity to call them. Do not speculate or consider this. No, that's not going to work for me because you told me that she had a rapper baby daddy that was an icon. I have to speculate. That's human nature. That's human nature. Nice try, Judge. I'll read it again. Here we go, you guys. Voluntary intoxication may negate the intent requirement of RICO predicates. Uncalled witnesses, you have heard names of people not called as witnesses. Did they say anybody's name in court?
And they didn't show up. Was it well?
No. They just said an icon witness, a very famous rapper. Each side had an equal opportunity to call them. Do not speculate or consider this. Okay, fine. We don't need to know who the baby daddies are. We don't need to know that she was at Kanye's freak off. You don't want us to speculate. We don't even need their names for what was testified to. 50 Cent, I don't know, Kodak Black, does it matter? It doesn't. So I agree with this one. It doesn't matter. But that other one, I'm gonna have to go on and screenshot this because that's confusing. Very confusing. So they're going to ask for clarification of jury instructions. The judge is going to rewrite it and send it back to them and tell them to make a decision. Well, that's not the one I was talking about. on. We're gonna be talking about this one all day. This one right here. I'm gonna be talking about that all day. We gonna have to pull out some experts. I need to find out. Hold on, let me save this. Hold on, guys. I'm saving this right here. This
Yeah,
certain
Sharrell, he said, remember you was trying to figure out who he was talking about? Yeah, he says it was victim 3 and 5. Remember some people was missing, and you were just asking,
right.
yeah,
Right. You're talking about Gina and
and then whoever else was that
yeah.
ran away. Yeah.
Certain witnesses were permitted to be identified by pseudonyms. They should bear on your evaluation of credibility. This is the one I'm stuck on. The defendant had no responsibility to, no, not that part. Certain witnesses were permitted to be identified by pseudonyms. That should bear on your evaluation of credibility. So I'm going to assume they missed the word not, should not, because if they meant it this way, you basically said the people that use fake names, they use it for a reason. And maybe they're not credible. And no judge would say that. No judge would say that. So this was a typo, I'm going to say for now. But I'm going to find out. I'm going to find out if this was a typo, because no judge would say that. Do you see a judge saying that, Perry?
No, I don't think so.
Yeah, that just does it. Here we go. Any notes you took only for you. No outside reading. You are to consider only what was presented within the four walls of this courtroom. You may not communicate about the case, including on X, Instagram, or YouTube. If you see this, tell my deputy. We're wrapping it up, you guys. He's almost done.
Yep. Good. Somebody said that somebody said maybe it was coming from the defense. That maybe they had it put in there or something.
If they had that put in there, the defense just made the prosecution look so silly. But I don't think there's got to be a typo. Here we go. Do not be swayed by biases, including implicit biases. These hidden thoughts can impact what we hear and see and how we remember it. You will now retire to consider the case. Each of you must decide the case for himself or herself after deliberating. Okay, y'all, it's official. They're done. And like I said, I had one problem with that one statement. I'm going to be talking about that until it's cleared up.
Yeah.
Because that would make no sense. Also, so now we're just really whittling down, in my opinion. I only see one thing wrong here, and that's the transportation of prostitution. So we'll go back over it and see, maybe we missed another one. What else? Because ex trafficking, no. Trafficking substances, he's not a dealer. That's just not, no. And if you change that law, like I said, puff puff pass will take on a whole new meaning.
Yvette said we.
Anybody see anything else? We will not be going to sleep. Well, does anybody else see anything you want to talk about?
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I'm waiting for him to finally send him off to the jury.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Because they basically threw out Rico. But he's still looking up to 10 years. That's still jail time.
Yeah, but you know.
But yeah, we can't argue. He just threw out Rico, and he may thrown out Jane and Mia's testimony, but I got to double check. Let me head over to law and crime. Is there anything you want to say, Perry?
Oh no, I was gonna say, you know what? I mean, for me, yeah, people can say it's highly anticipated that they can get him on that man thing or whatever it was.
Janet?
Man act, right? But I've been on jurors, and sometimes you get to that certain point, you're like, oh man, all this is trash. Boo, 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 boo. Submit. We'll see. But if anything, probably just that. But
I don't know, y'all. Let's head over to the experts. Let's see what they got to see. Let's see if they're talking about it now. This,
it might not take them all day.
well, I mean,
That's the crazy part.
right? I mean,
yeah.
they cannot, after all of that, just have one simple charge. There's got to be something else. Maybe they're going to say the forced labor, maybe. That's hard to prove the way she's acting.
So hip hop says this. A judge would say that if they met Jane.
I mean, it was really weird. Why am I frozen here? Come on, let's get to it.
Did you get that last one, Sharrell, when he was talking about the verdict 1 minute ago?
1 minute ago? No.
Mm-hmm.
Here we go. It says, your verdict must be unanimous. Yeah. If you are divided, you do not report the specifics. Your foreperson will send out any notes and any verdict. Any communication with the court should be in writing. He's probably not going to handle a mistrial after a couple attempts.
He's trying to finish.
Yeah, I think if they come undecided or, we can't work this out, he's going to go back in there and think about it some more. I've seen judges do that. I think if it's a mistrial, it's going to be clear. He probably is going to do that like 3 to 4 times. And then if you can't come to some conclusion, then I think they will, that's what I think. So now y'all were waiting for Law and Crime to come on. Let's see what y'all think. I don't think the deliberations would take longer than a day.
Right. It might not. Sharrell, you get the last update? I think you're still trying to.
Oh, here we go. Sorry. The alternates do not have to be here, but give your phone number to my deputy. You may be called to replace a juror. You will be called with a verdict is reached. When a verdict is reached, the alternatives are, and then he names their number. Wow. Let's just see what's going on. What did y'all think about this? What is learned about freaks with X rings, an organization that consists of a lot of substances? Is the involvers minors at some point? It do. Tired of the missing children, so he gotta go. What missing children? Did I miss something?
I mean, was that in court? Like, do you have a picture of a missing child that he had his hands on? I know speculate. I'm not saying, did he do it?
Hold on. Do not read any news reports, requests to this trial. If there were to be any, please accept my heartfelt gratitude for your service over the past 2 months or even more. My deputy will provide my personal contact information. I could give you a tour of the courthouse. What? Why would a judge say that?
Well, I don't. I guess he's just saying,
Is he smoking something? Why would he say that?
Yeah.
That's odd. That's socially odd. I guess, was he trying to lighten the mood? Like, yeah. Shut up, please, sir. Please.
Or either trying to set up a freak off on his own. He's doing something.
Y'all saying the verdict shouldn't take long. Yeah, no, I don't know what. Something's wrong with the judge. Something wrong with the judge. OMG, there's no children. I don't know what. I think she's talking about hearsay. I don't know. There is no children involved. Sharrell, by the law, The judge cannot make a juror change their mind about their verdict. Yeah, that's true. No, I know there is no proof. I'm saying what really happens behind closed doors. Okay. She's explaining what she meant by the children. Closed doors, Perry. This is the X ring consistent of anyone can get it, and that is proven in court. Because the jury will be back with a not guilty for this. Well, now, Perry, do a poll.
Yeah, yeah.
Is Diddy guilty? Yes or no? I was really shocked. My whole argument, as Wayne pointed out, was about the RICO. He said you were on one, all hyped up, and didn't listen. He said the RICO been off the table. I didn't know that. I apologize. Because that's what I was. Now, this Mann Act, there's really nothing I can say to that's just proving he's guilty of that. There's nothing I can say about that. But I feel that's the only thing they got. All that other stuff, and I think the judge said I think the judge said that Jane and Mia used aliases for a reason. It might be because of their credibility. That's what I think it said. Now, it could be a typo. That's what it said. But it could be a typo. So we'll see. That would be mind-boggling. Based on that missing children comment, the Jaguar rights of the world will continue to make money with interviews. She has started a whole new crusade. She's over Diddy now. Now she's going for Jay-Z. Jaguar right. We are telling you on this channel, leave Jay-Z alone. You're going to find yourself in court. Now, he already warned you with the Pierce Morgan interview. You keep playing with this man, and he going to have enough one day. You're going to F around and find out. Jaguar right, if you keep messing with Jay-Z, you're going to F around and find out. So you must be telling the truth, or, you already got those warrants that you keep ignoring. And I didn't turn you in on the warrants, by the way. That's not my style. I don't care. I don't want you behind bars. I do not want Jaguar Wright behind bars. I'm saying that loud and clear. You're a liar, but I don't think you should be behind bars. This 1 minute.
Yeah.
Judge says, here is the verdict sheet. Only if you find the defendant guilty on count 1, answer to each predicate. Not proven or proven. And X trafficking involves X trafficking of Cassie or James. That would be count 2, 3, 4, and 5. Not guilty or guilty. I mean, it's really boiling down to those counts. We are throwing the transportation out the window because that's guilty. That's guilty. Now it's boiling down to more.
Mm-hmm.
I don't see it. Let me refresh.
Yeah, no, just got to refresh.
Here we go. It says, from now on, your schedule is your own. You will be provided with meals. Now the marshal will swear you in. And then it says done in brackets. And then it says, now the jurors can head back into the jury room. All rise.
Yeah.
Okay, you guys, this is the time we get real nervous. I hate jury deliberation. I hate it. I hate when they call and everybody rushes to the courthouse. I hate when you're on the end of your seat and in my case, bubbles in the stomach before they read the verdict. I hate all of this. I hate it. I hate the other side cheering and the other side mad. This is the worst part of trials that I hate. For anybody's trial, I just hate jury deliberation because I'm doing this. I'm looking at my wrist, at my watch. Okay, it's been a day now. It's been a day and 48 seconds, and I can't take it. I can't take it. And y'all, we will be agree to disagree because we got a serious case coming up.
So it's
Carmelo Anthony, huh?
It's 11:30 back east. They go back to the deliberation room. They should be getting lunch around 12:30. Then they probably have an answer about 3 o'clock, but they might stay around for dinner to get that free meal too, and then come back and drop the verdict.
No, let me say this again. No. I said Jaguar Wright is a liar. I do not want Jaguar Wright in jail. Y'all stop. This is not for her to go to jail. This is her to stop lying. We don't want her in jail. We don't want her in jail. Y'all are ruthless. All right, Perry. So do we head out and start the... So you guys, somebody will always be home, me or Perry. If the other person's out, they'll call in. And this is the worst time for me. We are under jury deliberations. And I'm going to find out about that one thing about the people under pseudonyms. But it's no more testimony to say. How do we handle this? So you guys keep your notifications on.
Well, I mean, 67% think he'll be found not guilty.
Oh,
33% yes. Oh, I mean, that climbed a lot throughout the trial.
all right, y'all. Let's go, Perry, because we got some other stuff to do. We will see y'all the minute we're not going to be gone and get it later. The minute they're called to come back and they start driving back or walking back, me and Perry will be on.
We'll be
and
back.
Everybody pray for whatever they want the outcome to be. And we will see you then. And we will all remain friends and adults. Love y'all.
Right. Bye, everybody.
Bye, everybody.